And lastly, part 5 in our learning of the unit circle. So these other trigonometric functions, secant, cosecant, and cotangent, come up in applications with integrals. So this is a calculus type thing. If you go on to study advanced physics or engineering, you'll see these. But we do mention them in a pre-calculus class, so here they are. So secant is the reciprocal of cosecant, of cosine, excuse me. Cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, and cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. So I always remember it by just knowing that tangent and cotangent go together, which kind of makes sense. And then for these, the s's and c's are reversed. So when I see secant, I think, oh, the s's and c's are reversed, so it's 1 over cosine. And when I see cosecant, excuse me, I think, well, s's and c's are reversed, so it's 1 over sine. So if you have a situation where you are calculating the secant of 30 degrees in your head, you think, well, that's 1 over the cosine of 30 degrees. And then we're getting very familiar with 30 degrees, so a little unit circle. Right? And then the cosine of 30 degrees would be that, which we know is root 3 over 2. So we would have this 1 over root 3 over 2, and then dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal, so that would end up as 2 over root 3. And you are familiar with simplifying radicals, so yeah, it's not over. We would do this to get rid of the square root in the denominator and end up with 2 root 3 over 3. Okay. What does this say? To orbital. This says cosecant of pi over 4. So cosecant of pi over 4. I'll write out that, the word cosecant of pi over 4 would be 1 over the sine of pi over 4. And we know pi over 4, let's see, right here. And the sine would be this, so we know that's a root 2 over 2. So 1 over root 2 over 2, dividing by a fraction, same as multiplying by the reciprocal. So we flip it, and 2 divided by root 2 is root 2. Alright, third example, cotangent of 2 pi over 3. So we know that's going to be 1 over the tangent of 2 pi over 3. And let's see, 2 pi over 3, that is right here. So there's thirds. And if you're thinking this, I know that would be negative root 3. So we're going to get 1 over negative square root 3. So if this whole thing didn't make sense and you're used to just doing sine over cosine, you could do that. It's just an additional step. This is what you get. And let's see, negative and 1 over root 3. So we would rationalize, get rid of the square root in the denominator, and end up with a negative root 3 over 3. And lastly, secant of pi. So this brings up a good point, in that sometimes you got to watch out for things being undefined. Let's see. Oh no, this won't work. Alright, I mean, we can solve this, but so secant of pi is 1 over the cosine of pi, and cosine of pi, there's pi, cosine would be negative 1. So we have 1 over negative 1, which is negative 1. If you end up with, so that's our answer for that, good work. If you end up with 0 in the denominator, so something like this, of course that would be, does not exist. So that's it for these co-functions. just make it as 1 over the normal function and find your value that way.